It's news with no boundaries. It's smart, opinionated, unapologetic, and fun. With Andrea Isom, Jessica Starr, Maria Liu, and Amy Lang. They are The Source.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Source. We're missing one this week, but Jessica Starr will be back with us next week.
That's right. So this week we were talking about something that's actually very important to me. We're talking about being a living donor, something people who do don't get enough credit for.
Absolutely, and we are going to talk about your own father in just a minute. But first, let's explain how this all came about. We did a story this week with an amazing woman, a 33-year-old woman named Alicia Carrickson, and she donated part of her liver to this man, her best friend's father-in-law, Mike Ozium, and he was in such bad shape he doesn't even think he would still be here if not for Alicia's generous and courageous decision.
What was that reunion like?
It was just so very, very sweet. They were so happy to see each other. She was so glad to see him up and moving, and his color was better. He was so much healthier. From what they say, he was so out of it because of all the toxins building up in his blood from this disease that he had suffered from, where iron builds up, and he couldn't even work. He couldn't function. I mean, he was in really bad shape. And then she comes along and says, you know, look, I've got the same blood type. Maybe I can be a match. Goes to the testing, and sure enough, she could do it. Let's listen to them.
Just to see him up walking and moving and smiling and happy, that was amazing.
If it wasn't for basically her and the people at Henry Ford, I don't know if I'd be here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the folks at the Henry Ford Transplant Institute who made this all happen. And you know, this is, as we talked about, not without risks.
I know, and we have to be serious in talking about that because we all say that how important it is, and it is so very important, and you know that firsthand. But I think going into something like this, you need to have all the facts, and we did talk to the surgeon in the middle of all this awesomeness. Let's hear what he had to say.
Transplant teams and transplant centers try to treat their donors with thick gloves, with affection, with care, because this is a person who does not need an operation, who's seeking to help somebody else. So we have lots of safeguards in the transplant community, in the transplant centers, and even the regulators themselves and the agencies have put a lot of safeguards to make this a better operation for the donors, and we'll monitor outcomes long term to make sure people are doing well. And whenever it's something we have to learn, we share it in the community so we know we are doing right by our donors.
And I mean,
brings back a lot of memories.
I know. How do you feel right now? I mean,
you know, my father had a kidney transplant not too long ago. He's doing great.
Awesome.
But I remember the process. I was in you know, Cleveland, and my dad lives in Texas, and he would not let my brother get tested. He wouldn't let me get tested. He didn't want to put us through it. Thank God he was able to get a kidney through a friend of the family. But I mean, being on the phone, just not being able to be there, I went down for the recovery, but being on the phone, and it's so touch and go for so long. These doctors, just, it's amazing what modern medicine can do.
I know.
And his was a living donor, right?
Right.
Family friend.
And they're both doing well. Both doing well. Both doing well. But I mean, again, it changes your life. Yeah. It completely changes your life. And even now, I found out months ago, just a few months ago, after my dad being out of the hospital and well for years, that my dad wrote a goodbye letter to me and to my brother. He won't even talk about it now. I have no idea what's in it. Thank God I don't know. I never had to read it. But you don't know going in what the outcome will be. So again, such a blessing that he's all right in this family as well. It really, more people should do it, and the people who do, you know, I don't think that they get enough credit for it.
Absolutely.
You know, and you talked about earlier, you know, they have this down to a science, though. They've done this so many times.
Especially with the kidney.
Exactly, but there is the risk.
Right.
And to see the success stories that we saw here and with your dad, it's just awesome. But you know, we wanted to talk to some of you. We wanted to know what you think. We wanted to go to the streets, our viewers, our friends, to say, what would you do? Is it something you would be down with, or something you're too afraid to do? Let's hear what you had to say.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, especially if it's family members.
I don't know. Maybe if it was, it's kind of hard to say, a family member like my daughter or my brother, maybe. But then I'm still on the fence about it, so I'm not sure.
I would not. I couldn't. I'm too afraid of doing anything voluntary as it is, let alone giving up my liver or a kidney for someone that
I don't know.
My only concern would be, that the right person got it who needed the most. And, I think it's really a good thing to help out people in need, no matter whether they're your family or not.
Wow. I think that's the hard part, is letting go. It's great that if you want to be a donor, but you can't hold on to it. I know this family friend is, my dad's not supposed to drink soda. That's his one little treat, though. He'll do it every now and then.
How often?
She's like, that's my kidney. What are you doing?
Don't mess with that kidney.
And so, to hear some of our viewers say, I want to make sure it goes to the right person, doing the right thing. If it gives somebody a chance to live, of course.
And it really does. Yeah. And the doctor, Alicia Surgeon, said it makes such a difference for not only the donor who's, saving someone's life, and of course the person whose life's being saved, but it's all around just this life-changing transformation.
Right. So we did want to get to this to make sure you guys at home knew that living donor organs make up approximately 47% of all transplanted organs in the U.S. The number of living organ donors is more than 6,000 a year, and 1 in 4 of these donors isn't biologically related to the recipient.
Now, there are different types of organs that can be donated with living donors. The kidney, as we have all said, is the most frequent type. You can donate a segment of the liver. You can also donate a lobe of one of the lungs. Intestine donation is rare, but you can donate a portion as well. You can also donate a portion of the pancreas.
Amazing stuff.
I know, isn't it amazing?
It
would you do it?
It is true. If someone needed, I would want to think that I would be courageous enough to say, yes, absolutely, I want to help you live a better life.
You?
I think you never know until you're in the moment, but I would have for my dad.
Of course.
For sure.
I'd be scared to death, but I think for anybody who needed me to do it, I think I'd put that fear aside and step up to the plate.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be keeping your number just in case.
All right. Well, that is this week's edition of The Source. Thank you so much for watching.
Stick around for all the latest local news and weather on Fox 2 News at 5.
See you next week.